Welcome to Chapter 2 in Organizational Behavior. In this chapter, we're going to look at a number of things, including describing the nature of diversity, different types of diversity. We'll talk about globalization and cross-cultural awareness, the changing nature of technology and how that has an influence on it. We'll take a look at ethics at the end of this chapter and some key things for new employees. All right, so the changing environment of business, certainly globalization has had a huge impact, right? There's a lot more international trade going on. There's a lot of international activity. There's communication over the internet. So there's a lot more globalization happening that didn't happen even a couple decades ago. Right? And certainly diversity in the workforce is becoming much more common, particularly here in the United States. Technology is changing very rapidly, and that has brought changes into the work environment, and workers have to deal with that, and not just the young workers, but all the workers have to learn how to deal with the changing technology. There's ethics and corporate governance issues that are certainly a key part of the work environment, and also employment relationships, right? What's the relationship between the employee and the employer, right? So back to diversity, right? So it's observable and unobservable similarities and differences among people. So how they're different, how they're the same. And sometimes it's at the surface level. We can see what race they are, what gender they are. Sometimes it's things we can't see. So maybe their goals or maybe their skills, right? It always amazes me at work how you find out people have these amazing skills outside of work that if you didn't talk to them as a person, you would have no idea. So what type of variety they have. They're from different backgrounds, they have different knowledges, and even the disparity between the workers, socioeconomic backgrounds. Some people grew up from a very modest background, other people very wealthy background, the way they are educated, all those type things add quite a bit of diversity to work. How is diversity affecting us at work? And the answer is more and more every day. So in the United States, by 2050, the population, the mean of the population will become older, right? The proportion of the population that's white will decrease. The other portions, the other key portions anyway, will go up, right? And talent shortages in certain areas, right, are certainly going to happen. So here's a little graphical representation of the ages changing. Right, so we see the 75 and older group growing huge, so 84% increase in the number of people 75 years and older, right? So that's a huge change from 2006 to 2016, right? And even 65 to 74, right? So lots of changes here, not so much down here, right? So they actually have, as a percentage of the population, right, the teens and early 20s, and even the folks between 25 and 54, right, that group grew a little, but that's it. Right, so key changes in the population, and this isn't true just the United States. So for instance, Japan makes a big deal out of, they have a very much aging population, and they need to make that a part of not just their workforce, but their overall social programs. Types of diversities and barriers to inclusion happen. So diversity, why have diversity in your organization, right? If it's all these wild changes, do we really need to get used to those? And the answer is yes. Why? Because when we have more diversity, we have more creativity, we have more innovation, right? And those things actually lead to a competitive advantage. It opens up markets to us. We can relate to different customers, right? So organizations that have diversity have a measurable competitive advantage over organizations that do not. Right? Organizational performance increases, right, when the employees have a positive attitude about diversity. Having diversity isn't enough. You need to have a positive attitude. You need to see it as a good thing. You need to work with it, not against it. Culturally diverse teams make better decisions over time than homogeneous ones. Homogeneous means the team is very much, the players on the team look like each other, right? So culturally diverse teams tend to do better. People bring different backgrounds, different experiences, different levels of expertise, right? All those things add to the team and make it stronger, make its performance measurably better, right? And then Title VII here in the United States, the Civil Rights Act, prohibits outright discrimination based on these things. So not only is it a good idea to do, it's actually the law. So why doesn't everybody do this? Well, there's barriers to inclusion. Things like me, right? I know you're your favorite person, right? It's very common, right? And because I like me, I like people like me. I'm my favorite person, so I like people who are similar to my favorite person, me, right? I'm kind of kidding, but that's part of it. So people tend to associate with people like them. Same age, same background, maybe same religion, right? Those type of things. And for the people not like me, we have stereotypes about them. We have certain assumptions about the way they act, the way they behave, the way they believe, right? And those kind of things can give us prejudices against them, right? So these prejudices can be outright bigotry or intolerance of others. They're not like me, therefore I won't give them an opportunity. I don't want to give them a job. I don't want to listen to what they have to say, right? Maybe I'm threatened by them. I'm afraid they'll take my job, so that's an outright threat to me. Or just plain ethnocentrism, which is to say, I know my group is the best. I was here, I was raised in my group, I understand we have an advantage over other people, and that's just the way things should be, right? So that's this belief your own language, country, culture are superior to all others, right? And then sometimes it comes from unequal access. So people that are born in certain situations have, or they have things in their favor, have access to organizational networks that other people don't. So for instance, women and minorities might not be invited to non-business lunches with colleagues where they learn about what's going on at the politics of work. They don't have the same after-work activities and so forth, right? So they miss a very important chance to socialize with not only their coworkers, but their mentors and bosses and those type people. So it gives them they lose a chance to move up, or to get access to the higher levels of the organization.